Hi there, Paris. Well, it's great to see you writing new essays for your IELTS preparation. So let's get straight into what you've written and see what you did today. So nowadays, most green energy is becoming ever more prevalent in both developed and developing countries. Some argue they greatly reduce costs and are better for the environment. Others believe they are a serious threat to energy security. Discuss both views and give your opinions. All right, so let's see what you did, Paris. Whether green energy should substitute sources like oil, gas, and coal in order to protect the environment is a debatable issue. Okay, there really shouldn't be a comma here. Let me increase the size so we can both look at it together. Hold on. Perfect. Okay, there shouldn't be a comma here. It should just be one straight sentence. In the present essay, I shall discuss the advantages and disadvantages of green energy and argue why it... Okay, you need that preparatory it subject here, why it is important to support the trend of sustainable sources of energy. Okay, people who argue against green energy often tend to appeal at the high costs of green energy technology and with some reason. All right, it's not 100% wrong, but it does need some help. So let's just fix it up a little bit so it's more natural. People who argue against green energy often refer to the high costs of green energy technology, and with reason, full stop. So if you make those little changes, some vocabulary changes, and then get rid of some of the extra words, then you're perfect, okay? Let's see. Then, installing a green energy system can be 5 times more expensive than traditional machines because the necessary material to build green energy machines are difficult to obtain. Okay, fine. Moreover, detractors of green energy argue that such systems are not reliable and they often fail. Due to these ideas, many people think that substituting the traditional sources of energy is a bad idea. All right. This really needed an extra sentence here. You needed something going a little more into detail. So because you say something really rather strong, they are not reliable and they often fail. What do you mean? When? Why? How do they fail? Okay, so when you put forth an idea like this, you really need to back it up. All right, and this is really the difference between a 6 and a 7 in your essay for your task response. Okay, so moving along. However, green energy also has its advantages. In recent years, new technologies have contributed to reducing. Now, contributed to is one of these expressions. Where is it? Here it is. There. Contributed to is an expression where the to doesn't mean, okay, now you have a full infinitive, but in fact means that you need an ing. Why? And here's the test you can do. If you find to and you can put a noun and that noun makes sense, then the verb you will put has to be an ing. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If a noun can't fit after the word to, then it means that it's a full infinitive. I hope that makes sense. I'm more than happy to explain it more in detail later. Okay, so new technologies have contributed to reducing the costs of installing renewable energy systems and is becoming. No, it can't be is becoming. So new technologies, that's your subject, and are becoming, all right, because it's a plural subject. Now, this is such a simple grammatical thing. It really is considered simple grammar, basic grammar, but it's something that people trip up on all the time. Make sure you understand what the subject of your sentence is. Make sure that all the verbs follow appropriately the subject that they belong to. So, new technologies have contributed to reducing the cost of renewable energy systems and are becoming easier to get. And no, that doesn't work here with the rest of your sentence then. Look at this. And it is becoming easier to get the materials needed to build a domestic energy machine. All right, do you see the changes you have to make there? You can't just keep the same subject. It just clearly doesn't work. But beyond the monetary issue, there are the benefits for the environment. Scientists of the Institute of Renewable Energy of the United States have recently presented a survey that forecasts that if the trend of substituting traditional energy continues, by 2050 pollution in the world can be reduced by up to 30% without the A, Paris. Okay? Here, you didn't need this word. In consequence, some politicians started campaigning for increasing the public resources allocated to green technologies research. Okay, I wouldn't have put this as a plural here. That's the first thing. Green technology research. We never put a plural when our noun acts as an adjective. The other thing, there was one other thing that as I was reading, I wanted to correct. Up to 30%, no A. Okay, in consequence. Or it's fine. Consequently, I would have preferred rather than in consequence. But all right, no big problem here. Let's see. You never really mentioned energy security, didn't you? Did you? You never really talked about it. What do they mean by energy security? What kind of issues come to play here? It was kind of like, well, on the one hand, green energy is bad. On the other hand, green energy is good. And that's it. That's all you discussed. You never really discussed the second question. And that's a problem, this issue of energy security. You needed to address it in its own separate paragraph because it is its own separate question. Okay? So think about that a little bit in terms of your paragraphs, in terms of your... This kind of thing could reflect on your task response grade and your coherence and cohesion grade. All right, Paris? Okay, so let's see. In my opinion, sustainable energies should continue to, where's my, there it is, to be supported due to, here, the arguments mentioned above. People should consider that the benefits for the environment are more important than saving money by remaining with the traditional energy resources. Okay? Sources, that's fine as well. So good job. Let's go on now to your second essay. Okay, so now let's move on to your task 1. It's the waste hauling trips. Let's see what you wrote. The bar chart shows the figures for hauling of waste performed by 2 different haulers from July to September 2014. All right, let's fix this just a little bit, Paris, okay? It should be. The bar chart shows the figures for the hauling of waste performed by 2 different haulers, and then it's fine. Really, all it was missing was that little the. From July to September 2014. Overall, it can be seen that hauler B was the one which made the, singular, the most hauling trips in the 3 months. Okay, fine. In July of 2014, hauler A made 100 trips to haul waste. No E there, please. Which exceeded the trips made by hauler B. Now, honestly, you could have made this so much simpler. You could have just said by 80 trips. Okay? So the person reading this understands it. It doesn't give too much information. It doesn't give too many clauses where there shouldn't be any. So to really make this easy, it could have just been in July 2014, hauler A made 100 trips to haul waste, which exceeded the trips made by hauler B by 80 trips. And doesn't it become so much simpler and so much easier to read? Okay. However, in the next month, these numbers turned as hauler A did not reach the 120 trips made, whereas its competitor surpassed 140 trips. Okay, now this is really interesting too, because here you didn't need all these articles. You didn't need all these the. So looking at it more closely. However, in the next month, these numbers turned, or they changed, which is even better, as hauler A, did not reach 100 trips, comma, whereas, or you could say even better would be, as hauler A reached under 120 trips, whereas its competitor surpassed, let's see, 140 trips, and then it's perfect. This was the most important difference between both haulers in the 3 months shown. as in July, there were about 10 trips difference. And in August, this number double folded. Okay, all this needs to go. Everything after this word shown, it's not clear. It's not grammatically correct. So just remove it. Yeah? Okay, because I don't know what you mean by 10 trips difference. It just doesn't make sense. So get rid of it and let's just keep going. So the rest of it says, as for September, hauler B maintained its advantage would be better. Its advantage over hauler A. But both haulers showed a significant reduction in the number of trips made. Perfect. Hauler B made 100 trips to haul waste. There's no E here. Let's see. Hauler B made 100 trips to haul waste, whereas hauler A barely exceeded 80 trips. Good. Okay, just get rid of the here. You don't need it here. These figures made September the month when less waste was hauled by trucks in the period shown. Okay, so Paris, this is fine. You've detailed the information in all 3 months for both haulers, but guess what you've missed? Oh, here it is, your overview. Overall, it can be seen that hauler B was the one which made the most hauling trips in 3 months. Well, yes and no. I mean, it's an overview, but it's not entirely accurate because look what happens in July. Okay, so I mean, in July, it's not the hauler that makes the most trips. So what could you have said instead here to make it accurate and to make it a really precise overview? Because, you know, as you know, probably the overview doesn't have to be particularly detailed, but it should at least be precise. So overall, it can be seen that in 2 of the 3 months, hauler B was the one that made the most hauling trips. Full stop. Okay, in 2 of the 3 months, and then you're accurate. It's not too detailed, but it's accurate and it's appropriate, and then it's fine. Because what you have written is not 100% accurate. Okay, so Paris, I hope that helps. I hope that is clear. If you have any questions, please address them in an email. Good luck writing. Continue your writing. Continue working hard. I know you are working hard, but continue please to do so. Add these errors to your error correction list. At this point, you know what you need to do. So keep writing, and I'm really, really looking forward to helping you improve. So just keep at it, and I will wait for more essays from you.